Hi, my name is Joe Gurto, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to answer an extended response question in your hospitality exam. The first step of your preparation is obviously to study. We covered a lot of material, so how do you know what specifically to study? There are 6 compulsory core units in the hospitality course. Most of the multiple choice and short answer questions will be from these units, and one of your extended response questions will focus on one of these units. Let's have a quick overview of each of them. Follow health, safety, and security procedures taught us about how injuries at work can affect many people in many ways. We learned about workplace health and safety, WH&S legislation, duty of care, and employee and employer responsibilities in preventing workplace injuries. We also learned about safe work practices such as lifting and moving items, ergonomics, chemical safety, and many others. We learned about safety signs and personal protective equipment. Follow workplace hygiene procedures taught us about the importance of cleanliness in the workplace to prevent food contamination, which could lead to food poisoning. We learned about both personal hygiene, keeping ourselves clean, and environmental hygiene, keeping the workplace clean. Develop and update hospitality industry knowledge taught us about the many sectors of the hospitality industry, such as accommodation, food and beverage, entertainment, meetings, and travel and tourism. We learned about the different departments, such as human resources, reception, maintenance, security, housekeeping, and food and beverage. We learned how and where to look for information in libraries, online, business contacts, unions, etc. We learned about the working conditions in the industry, the awards which tell us the hours of work, rates of pay, and benefits. We learned how to find a job in the hospitality industry. We learned about what skills and attributes employees are looking for and how to write a resume. We learned about the legal and ethical issues that hospitality industry employees face. Participate in environmentally friendly work practices taught us how to sustain our environment so that our children can enjoy all the resources that we enjoy. We learned about the resources that are used in the hospitality industry and how to manage them. We learned to use energy efficiently, conserve water, and manage our waste. Working with colleagues and customers taught us about the importance of communication and the many ways in which communication occurs. We learned about teamwork and working with other people. We learned about customer needs and expectations and how to greet customers and how to deal with their complaints. Work in a socially diverse environment taught us to understand the diversity of people with whom we work. We learned about the legislation which prohibits discrimination. We learned about what our overseas visitors expect when they travel and how each culture may have different expectations. We learned about the different religions and about the indigenous people of Australia. We learned ways to communicate with non-English speaking visitors using signs, symbols, and gestures. We also learned where to find help in overcoming cultural barriers. There are 3 strands to hospitality study: accommodation services, food and beverage, and commercial cookery. We studied commercial cookery. There are 5 compulsory units in this strand. One of the extended response questions will focus on one or more of these units. So let's have a brief look at those. Organize and prepare food familiarized us with the various types of equipment that are used in commercial kitchens. We learned about the chef's uniform and the chef's most important tool, the knife, how to use it properly, how to use it safely. We learned about recipes and menus. We learned how to measure ingredients and to check them for quality. We learned about meat, poultry, and seafood, dry goods, dairy goods, fruit, vegetables. We learned about mise en place, getting everything ready before we start to prepare the dish. We learned about precision cuts, workflow plans, portion control, and ways to minimize wastage. Present food taught us about different types of menus and the categories of items that are found on the menus. We learned about garnishes and how to portion and plate food, and how to choose appropriate crockery and serving dishes. We learned how to display foods, how to set up buffets and create showpieces for food display. We learned how to set a casual table and how to set a formal table. We learned napkin folding. Used basic methods of cookery, taught us about the general principles of cookery and different methods that are used to produce different results. We learned about wet and dry methods, the foods that are suitable to use for each, and the appropriate equipment to use. Implement food safety procedures reminded us about food contamination and foodborne illness, and taught us how to use the principles of HACCP to make sure the food that we serve is safe every step of the way. Clean and maintain kitchen premises taught us the importance of keeping our kitchen environment clean. We learned about the correct and safe use of cleaning chemicals, the proper procedures for cleaning and sanitizing all areas of the kitchen and the equipment, and how to handle waste and linen. There are often questions on the exam about another unit that we studied, receive and store kitchen supplies. Receive and store kitchen supplies taught us to check incoming supplies for quality, specifications, and against order and delivery information. We learned to move the stock safely to the appropriate areas. We learned how to store properly, keep stock levels down, and rotate stock. We learned about appropriate storage areas and appropriate temperatures. We learned about the shelf life of various foods. The other units that we studied, prepare appetizers and salads, prepare sandwiches, prepare stock soups and sauces, and prepare vegetables, eggs, and farinaceous dishes, do not often have. Okay, let's take a look at a sample extended response question. First we'll read it, then we'll break it down to see how to best answer it. Analyze the use of HACCP to ensure the safe production of food from delivery to service. In your answer, refer to one of the following foods: fresh chickens or fresh prawns. After you have read the question, circle the key word. The key word describes how you need to answer the question. Click on the image in the lower right-hand corner of this slide to see a list of the key words and their definitions. In this question, the key word is analyze, which means that you need to identify the various parts and how they affect the areas the question is addressing. Next, underline the syllabus link. That's what you're expected to have learned. In this question, the syllabus link is HACCP. This is the time to remember in which unit you learned about this. In this example, HACCP was taught in Implement Food Safety Procedures. In the next step, you need to highlight the relationships that must be addressed in the question. What do you have to discuss about HACCP? You have to discuss how to ensure safe production of food from delivery to service. Focus your answer on either fresh prawns or fresh chickens. Now you'll begin to write your essay. Start by explaining what you understand about the syllabus link. In this example, we are describing HACCP. The question refers to the safe production of food from delivery to service. With your understanding of HACCP, you know that delivery and service are two of the critical control points, so explain your general knowledge of critical control points. Next, you will write an introductory paragraph which links your answer to an industry situation. Then, you will take each of the relationships and address them separately. For each of them, you will need to give a definition, identify possible problems, and offer solutions to those problems, always using industry examples. In our sample question, there are 9 relationships that we could address, the critical control points. We don't need to address all of them because there are only 30 minutes to answer the question. We should address at least 3. We should be sure to address delivery and service because they were both specifically mentioned in the question. Let's look at a couple of examples of addressing the relationships. The relationship is delivery. We provide a definition: the time the chickens leave the suppliers and arrive at the hotel. We mention possible problems: cleanliness and temperature of the delivery vehicle at the time the food is left. We mention possible problems: cleanliness and temperature of the delivery vehicle, and the time the food is left in the danger zone, which is 5 to 60 degrees Celsius. Be sure to clarify some of the terminology, such as danger zone. Then we offer possible solutions. The vehicle must be properly cleaned every day to ensure physical, chemical, and biological contamination does not occur. The chickens must be kept below 4 degrees Celsius to prevent the growth of bacteria. When we mentioned hotel in the definition, we were linking the situation to industry. The next relationship we will address in this sample is receiving. We provide a definition: the time the chickens arrive on the loading dock until they are stored. We mention the possible problems. The chickens are already contaminated, and temperature increasing and bacteria growing. We offer solutions by describing the correct procedure. When the chickens arrive, they must not be left in the danger zone for long. The chickens must be checked for use-by dates, size, quantity, quality, and temperature. The chickens should smell fresh and not be slimy. The chickens should also have an internal temperature of less than 4 degrees Celsius. The chickens must be placed in the cool room immediately. Talking about the loading dock and cool room, provide the industry link. Let's look at one more. The relationship is storing. The definition we provide is: the chickens must be moved to an appropriate location and held until they're ready to be prepared. Storage areas could include dry stores, fridges, and freezers. Each is suitable to different kinds of food. Dry stores are held at 15 to 20 degrees and are suitable for dry goods such as pastas, flour, and canned goods. The temperature of a fridge should be 1 to 4 degrees and are suitable for the short-term storage of perishable foods, such as fresh chickens. The temperature of a freezer should be -18 to -23 degrees. Freezers are suitable for the long-term storage of perishable foods. When storing fresh chickens, we want to prevent biological and physical contamination, as well as using the newer food before the older stock. This is done by ensuring the temperature of the fridge is correct, the storage area is clean, the chickens are stored correctly on drip trays and on the bottom shelf to prevent cross-contamination by juices dripping onto other foods. FIFO, first in, first out method of storage should be used to ensure that the older stock is used first. The term dry stores now have a practice by addressing each of the remaining relationships. Finally, finish your essay by summarizing what you said. For example, by using the principles of HACCP, you can make sure the food stays safe every step of the way, from delivery to service. Remember, you need to finish your essay in 30 minutes, but leave yourself time to double-check what you've written. Good luck.